What's up, y'all? Jeffery at jefferyTV coming to you from a remote location, the ultimate remote location. Getting ready to get on the machine and do what I do, if you want to call this a machine. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd, the day before granddaughter's birthday, and birthday party tomorrow. It's not that I'm tired or lazy. I don't know, it just feels sloggy, I guess. The word I used was sloggy, but I feel better. I'm getting better. Whatever getting better means. Getting better implies that there was something amiss prior or ongoing. I can't sure I could say that. It might be just that I'm fatigued. I could be tired. I haven't been home in 2 weeks, and it doesn't feel like it. I had 1 day of rest, Sunday, and I knew when I did that day it wasn't going to be enough. My weight is down. I woke up this morning, jumped on the scale. Now, this isn't Mr. Scale. I didn't bring Mr. Scale, because after all these years, I found out I can enter my weight manually using other people's scales. And for the most part, when I get on other people's scales and go home, they fairly match up. So I'm like, hey, Mr. Scale, I'm gonna be on it. And so when I come back, I'll still have to answer to you ultimately, but I'll use your cousins and counterparts in the meantime. Save a little bit of weight and space in the carry-on. You may notice that I've been wearing the same clothes, and it's funny, I was going through my suitcase and I was kind of put back at the fact that so many of these clothes I'm not going to wear. And that's just my ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to not go back home with any unworn clothes. I didn't wear any of that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a more detailed inventory here. Be more aware and detailed inventory of the clothes here, because I wear the same clothes. In fact, the shirt I was wearing yesterday, I took it off. It was stinking. I ain't smelled myself in years. I haven't smelled myself in years. Underarm stuff. And I think it might have been because I was wearing a medium and it was fitting, tight on my body, kind of muscle manish. Can I say that? Muscle man-ish. And I think that my armpits actually were, because see, this is a large that I'm wearing now. I have had this shirt for years. It's been washed and shrunk and all kinds of stuff. But it still fits loose. And the fabric really doesn't go up into my armpit. So I can see why these don't stink. But I'm looking down to see, because I like to set this thing. This one here is a new one that I bought. The one I have at home doesn't have the electronic calculator. This one has like a little, whatever electronic calculator. Has a couple magnets in it that, spin back and forth, and sensors that can detect that and make calculations and give you, it actually says miles per hour that you're going. This is a Gazelle glider. Just like the one I got at home, just like the one my sister got. It's not a Nordic. I was on a Nordic yesterday. at the hotel. You know, the standing one and the bicycle one. It really wasn't even a bicycle. It was more like a sit down, you know, and you do the legs and you get a workout. I broke a sweat, but it didn't feel, sitting down and pedaling seemed strange. Those probably get on your back and blah, 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 blah. And then like those bikes I see people riding where they're like laying down and they're, you know, got their feet, they're like almost horizontal and they're the bikes, you know. Like, I don't get that. I got to be upright. Just like in my Jeep. All those years I rented cars. When I got in that Renegade, I was like, this is the fit. That's why I bought one, because I'm sitting up. I'm sitting up. When I get in the car, I damn near put my seat at 90 degrees. That's probably an exaggeration, but it's much, much more upright than the kids do. The kids get in there, they just lay the seat all the way back. I'm like, what is that about? But I like to sit up. Forget how I went down this street. But since I'm talking about sitting up, I can talk about my shoulder pain that I wake up with just about every day and have to stretch out. Getting on this really helps, because that's what I'm doing all this. You see me actually massaging it and stretching as I'm talking, if you notice. I've been doing that for a while. It's like, you know, behind the shoulder blade, right under the shoulder blade. Went to the physical therapist. She started, you know, we went through a few things. She flat out said she was in a rush, but I think I got time. And I got some, because she was the only one there. But I got time, I got some pamphlets, I checked in, you know, so I feel like there was progress made, even though, you know, it wasn't an extended visit. But she pulled out this pounding. I don't know if I talked about it before, but she pulled out this pounding massager gun, and hit that muscle. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was so good. But that's why I'm stretching that out. See what physical therapy says. Hope it's not arthritis or some kind of, you know, if it's an inflammation that we can get rid of. Also, my hip seems to be, well, actually, I used to, like my upright. Even on this, I like to have my knees locked and be as upright as I possibly can, even though the physical therapist even said I need to push my hips forward. You know how it looks like people be walking with their butt stuck out with that kind of hump in your back thing? She said, you might want to work on correcting that. You know, just start, you know, walking with it, with your pelvis, you know, forced forward. And I recognized that a long time ago in my shape. And she said something like that and showed me a few exercises, gave me a pamphlet and stuff. And, you know, so I'm on my way. I just got to do physical therapy and I'll be okay. In fact, I think I got a doctor's appointment. Oh boy. I think I got a doctor's appointment the 4th when I get back there. I say, oh boy, because, wait a minute. No, that's next week. That's not, say, okay, this is 23rd. Okay, I'm going back to 24th. So that means the weekend, so that's next week. I got my weeks confused because I'm working Sundays, taking days off, and then working off days, save the PTO. It's all orchestrated and planned and manipulated. I got a $100 ticket to go see George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic New Year's Eve at the 930 Club in Washington, D.C. They play Sony Hall 2 days before in New York. I could catch a train from, I'd be tired. I would be tired because what I would do, I would catch a plane from LA, hit EWR, hit Newark Airport at 4 o'clock, catch a train to Sony Hall, see the show, leave the show, get to Penn Station, and catch another train to DC. And I'll have a day of rest on the 30th, and then on the 31st, or stay in New York and leave the next day, either way. But New York is expensive. But I could get a room. That means I wouldn't have to travel, so I'd be able to get a room. And rooms is expensive. I might have to start trying these bed and breakfasts or whatever, these little apartment rentals. I might have to start trying. I love hotels. I love the autonomy of a hotel. But I think these Airbnbs, where you rent somebody's apartment or whatever, the one time I did it, it was autonomous. It was just like a hotel clerk in the lobby just listed you up into an apartment building that had been, we didn't see anybody. Nobody, we didn't see the owners. I don't want to see the owners of the place. I don't want to know nothing about, I want it to be completely impersonal. So that's why I like hotels. Even though a million people may have slept in bed, and they may be nastier or whatever. In my mind, autonomy, I don't want, as long as I don't know. But if I see the person who's been sleeping in there, that's different. That's why I go to people's houses, I don't want to sleep in their bed. I'd rather sleep on the floor. And I said, no. I don't know. It's just me. So, trying to work that out and telling myself to realize that it's the holidays. And when I look up the flights, which are horrendously high, if you ask me, it does on Google Flights, it says your price is typical for this time of the year. I have to remember I'm traveling during New Year, so I might have to just spend some money. It looks like I might be able to do it for $1,200. Do that whole trip for about $1,200, which isn't hideous for a New York, DC, P-Funk New Year's weekend. It's not too bad if you really think about it. I'm just spoiled and used to getting super rates, and I even got miles. I could use miles, but I don't want to use miles on an expensive trip, or I don't know how I want to do it. But I just got to figure it out, and I'm looking at it now. Got my Excel spreadsheet, putting in the numbers, and then it'll be flying back on New Year's Day, which is cool with me. Then I got to check my work schedule and all that. And that's DC, and that's, so like I said, I got a ticket. See P-Funk DC. And if I go, I go. If I don't, I don't. But you know how it goes. If I could skip, ooh. And you know who always shows up in New York? You know who's always usually at the New York shows? Kendra. See, now all these little things pop in your head and you go, oh, God. All these things pop in your head and you go, oh, okay. And you get remember, and you would stop and think. And it's almost not embarrassing, but whatever the word is, that Kendra would influence my decision to go to New York or not. Not the Empire State Building, not the Central Park, not the buzz and energy and just the fact that you're in New York City. The Monahan Station, and just, bustling around Madison Square Garden when you walk out of there. My trigger would be, ooh, Kendra might be there. Oh, God, I'm funny. I love myself. I really do love myself. I do love myself. I even love it. And, it's funny, I love myself. And I find myself loving the parts that I like less most. I've said this before. Things I don't like, I probably love the most. Because there's nothing really in my life that is, overwhelmingly, whatever the word. Because I could have moved this closer. If I move the camera closer, I can have that light behind me, completely behind me. Under my shoulders. See, I tried to put a box up. Can you see? I tried to put a box up to block it. I even tried to put a duffel bag over it. That's a lot of light. Light don't play. Light does not play. Photons. Let's talk photons. Photons travel through the universe unmolested. But actually, neutrinos travel through the universe unmolested to the point that neutrinos pass right through the Earth, travel billions and billions and billions of miles. It can travel right through you and right through the Earth. What is that about? Photons travel pretty much unmolested, or not unmolested. I take that back. Photons are not unmolested because there's lensing, there's gravitational lensing. When light from a star passes from behind another star at a certain angle, you can actually see the light bend, and Einstein predicted that. I was just showing off. But the backlight is just backlight. Just be aware, backlight is just major. Even at work, people say, "Oh, can I get this lighter?" I said, "No." I said, "It's backlight. That's your problem. That white behind you is too much white behind you. You're gonna, no matter what you do, you're gonna, show up like that because your background is just too bright, and the camera can't distinguish. So if you lower it for the brightness and back, it's gonna lower your face." But they got new webcams out, and I've been looking at the new webcams. I saw a 4K webcam. Logitech seems to have the best. About $250. I'm probably gonna get one because I do want to go to 4. I do want to get at least see if I can create that high quality video that I see in some videos. I mean, I don't really need the high quality video because mine is all about the audio. Mine is all about me saying what I got to say. That's where my content comes from. And if it's aesthetically pleasing, it's nice and everything, but I really don't need it. But it'll be fun to have and play with and to buy and to wait till Amazon delivers it. But, because I take my stuff and take the audio and make podcasts anyway. It's all about the information and not so much about the presentation. Because if you watch Joe Rogan, like the #1 podcast in the world or something like that, you look at him, he's using a Shure mic that I got because everybody got one. I had to get one because I love the sound of it. And I don't even use it anymore. I use this lavalier. This is a little cheap $12 lavalier. And there's a little bit of noise in there and stuff, but you can hear my voice. That's the whole point. It doesn't sound like I'm across the room. And if I go down here like this, you really get it. And that's kind of the point. But you watch Joe Rogan, he sits in that same position without moving, like through the whole, all his podcasts with that background. And he doesn't, he laughs and everything, but he's not super animated. He's not moving around. And that's what I like, to move around and move my mouth. And I'm not like right there on the microphone the whole time. And you can move from the microphone. You can move away from it and still get picked up, and they wear headphones so they can hear themselves. So they stay in that sweet spot and they can hear the other person and the other person that get picked up. It's just, really. And the question is having my audio quality that good and clean necessary? With the microphone, with this lavalier microphone, I got hooked up to my cell phone. Basically, I got another cell phone. I got my real cell phone in my pocket. I got my Galaxy Samsung Ultra 22 in my pocket. And I got my previous phone, the Galaxy 9, on the tripod shooting this because I gotta have the phone in my pocket when I'm on the glider. But I noticed yesterday when I was on the treadmill, because my plantar fasciitis seems to be getting a little better. So I was able to walk some instead of biking the whole time, break it up and keep it moving. That I was able to I can hold my phone and be, on Facebook or whatever, looking at it, and it was still counting the steps on the treadmill. So that was cool. So, and I realized that this, it's about steps and it's about having a measurement, and it may not be about calorie burning. It may be just about keeping the body moving. How many calories I burn, how efficient, my workout is, how strenuous it is. may not matter. Just, just to keep it moving. I get on the bike. I mean, I'm not doing nothing super strenuous. I'm not climbing mountains. This ain't body combat. This ain't body combat. This is just, hey, Jeffrey, get your ass moving. And I sweat and it feels good. I feel really good about it. Get the breath going, get the cardio, whatever you want to call it. Woke up this morning, my weight was 198.2. I actually woke up under 200 after eating candy and stuff last night, just trying to catch up on rest. Today's the last day, people. Today is the last day. I'm off tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I work Sunday to make up for being off Wednesday. I work Sunday to make up for being off Wednesday. And then I work Monday. And I should call off Monday. I should call off Monday now. Or work a half a day. I probably could just work a half a day. That'd probably help, just so I could just lay in the bed and relax. I got to figure out how I'm going to play that, because I'm going to go to my mother's, I guess, on Thanksgiving or something. I got to figure out how we're going to play that, because I'm going to need some time. I am going to need some time. I'm going to need 2 days somewhere around here. I'm going to need 2 days straight. And that don't seem like that's going to happen until December 8th or something like that. It might not even happen then. But my weight is down to 198.2 according to my daughter's scale, which is usually consistent with Mr. Scale, who is the ultimate authority. Feel good for the most part. Right now I feel, but I know that laying around ain't gonna help. I know, and I don't want to go back to bed. I don't know what I want to do. I need to probably regain my center. Been flying around so much, and by flying around I mean not being home, going here, going there. I forget what I was doing before I led up to getting on that airplane a couple of weeks ago. I was probably running around and stuff and doing things, and you know how it is. But it's just good to talk it out, huh? I can cut all this out. I'm gonna edit these. I keep saying that. I'm gonna edit these down to the good parts, so people. And I keep stretching. I hope it's not too irritating, me stretching on my neck. If you're watching a video, and you really don't have to watch the video. You could just, put it on and, go about your business. And that's kind of like the music that I say I'm making, or I intended to create. It's not music that you say, ooh, I got this. You put it on and you sit and you look at the, record player spinning around, and you sit and you just concentrate on it. You just put it on, bounce your head to it a couple times, go on about your business, let it run in the background. Right now, I listen to Brain Food, something that's down-tempo hip-hop or some kind of, not hip-hop, trip-hop, or it's down-tempo house or something like that, EDM music, because it's the energy of it, the beats per minute, the sound. I like the sound and the syncopations and the rhythms of it, and it's not distracting. You can just you'll hear it, but you don't even know you're hearing it, but you just kind of, That's basically what I listen to. Stuff going on. You just got to figure it out and have a good time and, do all that. I thought I was going to talk about Kanye, but I think I covered the censorship and stuff pretty well. But I think Ted Tunney made a distinction that was very good between Kanye, Kyrie, Chappelle, and others as far as censorship. There's a difference between your sponsor censoring you and your employer censoring you. I'm not sure that he made a point that your employer can censor you. I'm not saying he did it not, but in my mind, the question should be, can your employer censor you? And I think yes. If you on his payroll, they own you. You are their quote unquote slave, which I don't like using that word, slavery. I don't think there's voluntary slavery. Voluntary slavery is an oxymoron. I don't think you can have voluntary. You can walk away at any time. You can't use the word slavery, if you ask me. So now sponsorship dropping you is different. That's different because they're saying, here, we give you this money as long as you stay within certain guidelines. Now, as an employer, they're allowed to do that. Kyrie and Kanye. And what Kanye is doing, he's getting out of that. He's going to shake some stuff up because he's showing people how to just get out of that. But it's easy for him because he's a billionaire. You know, he has the foundation to do it. But I guess other artists who want to make it or whatever make it means, get signed, get big and famous, do they want their music spread out? Do they want to express and create, or do they want to get famous? You know, they want to sign that contract, go into debt or whatever to a record company. I'm not sure how it works anymore. Because I'm hoping it changed, even though Chappelle was saying the artist, how they call you the artist. The artist can do this, the artist can do that. We own this to the artist likeness, the artist, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, so, but if you just want to create, you shouldn't have to be famous. If you just want to create, getting rich and having chains, all that ain't the point. Not at all. You know, making videos and getting, you know, that's a whole different lifestyle. That's a lifestyle. That's what you want. You can have that without the money. You can have the facade. People think you're famous. People think you're rich and all that. You live the lifestyle in the media. And you present that to the public. And, you know, but if you just want to create and get it out there, how much recognition do you need to receive if you're creating? Me, I do need to get recognition, if not just for the feedback, but probably more than that. Probably just, you know, to see. It could be a barometer too about what you're saying in your work, and what people think about your work can help your work. You know, it could be a quality assurance test, quote unquote, whatever that means. But I like the platforms that I have. I like the audience I may or may not have. And it's really about me just expressing. I just love talking. I do not ever want to get paid for this. That's why I'm comfortable where I'm at. I love my side of the stage, as I say. I ain't obligated to nobody. And that's the way I want to stay. I don't want it. In fact, the reason I got pfunk1.com years ago, because when I saw on the internet, I was like, what? You mean will be able to have a space where nobody can police me? Because before that, it was AOL and Prodigy and CompuServe, and they would take your post down. If it was this or that, they would take it down. And that just bothered me even back then. And he told me I can get a web page on the internet. I learned that. I remember sitting in that desk. I could picture myself at my desk at Artisan Entertainment now, probably 20 years ago. I can remember that energy. I was like, what? Oh my God. So the contractor was working there with us, and he showed me how to do it. I registered the domain. It was like $35 a year. I got pfunk1.com. And I built everything on that. And what I should have done, was use jefferyTV. But back then I didn't know. I rode the P-Funk, I don't say coattails or the brand. I rode the P-Funk subject or philosophy. Is P-Funk a trademark? Is P-Funk a trademark, or is P-Funk a genre? Is P-Funk an adjective, an adverb? What is P-Funk? Can anybody use it? Because even though P-Funk is George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic, and I said George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic and Parliament Funkadelic again intentionally, because the soloization of P-Funk. And to George Clinton, I understand and I get the front man. Even when Parliament Funkadelic was Parliament Funkadelic, they wanted one person up front. It's just not they, it's just us as humans. We want to have the leader. We need the Mick Jagger. We need the Steven Tyler. I'm just throwing out names, We need the Angela Moores. We need the front man, the one we can look at too, even though we know it's the band and we know it's Noah Wood, Dirty Walton, Mr. Stewart, and the other ones that had left before I really got to know Fishbone. I remember Tori was in there for a while. I think Tracy was in there. Who else? I said Dirty Walton. I think I said all the main ones that, because it's not a secret that Fishbone music does not resonate with me, and even though it wouldn't all them know that, because I'm on the one. I'm more the Columbus Sanitation, Dirty Walton, the Columbus Sanitation people, because more on the one. But anyway, I'm going too far. I even forget why I went down this street again. Because somebody remind me why I went down this street, where I was going, where I'm going. If anybody asks you where I'm going, where I'm going to, I'm going up yonder. I went to church. Maybe I could be, okay, I might be the number, okay, as far as I know, Finley, I forget his name, Finley, or whatever his name was. Oh my God. He was the first person I saw on internet YouTube talking about atheism. He was a black guy. And it blew my mind. I saw this. And he was the first one. Info little guy. He was the first one I saw him. I was like, oh. And he was black. I reached out to him. I was like, oh man. And I was like, oh wow, yes. And this is, like I said, when being an atheist was still taboo. When it was too threatening to believers to even have somebody like that in their midst. And we got through that. I was like the second, they said he put a video on YouTube first. It's acknowledged. He put the first atheist YouTube video up there. But everybody said that really wasn't an atheist video. Mine was atheist. Mine was fighting for the cause, defending it, showing people how to argue. Because a lot of people didn't even know how to argue against religion. They had never even seen anybody argue against religion, let alone put together a reasonable, level-headed, responses without hollering and getting upset. We were having a good conversation. It was me, Lloyd Major, and Mike. I forget Mike Elliott or Mike him. And we were like walking from my house to Enterprise rental car to get a van to go pick up some other people who was going up north to see P-Funk. And so he had the camera. I said, here, take my camera. And he started shooting me. We started talking. He said, all right, P-Funk. So God, he started off. And once he started off, I was able to think and walk and pivot off of it. I knew the camera was going, and I didn't destroy. It wasn't an attack. We weren't in attack mode. We weren't trying to fight or argue. And I was clearly aware the camera was going and how I could massage and not quite manipulate or orchestrate, or I will say orchestrate a good sequence of filming. I didn't want it to go too left or too crazy. And it came out really good. I put it on YouTube and it went viral. And they said that one was the first atheist video, the first true video on YouTube showing a competent atheist dissertation or response or argument, putting up an argument or, so. And that, not sure why I went down that street, but it's fun going down different streets. It's getting lost. It's like, well, my father knew we were, but when we was kids, we get in the car and go ride in the park. I don't know about my sister, but I truly thought we was lost. He'd be turning corners, we'd be turning corners and looking and just, You know, we'd get in the car, yeah, we'd go to and I'm not even talking about going out to a park or getting on any rides or anything. We would just ride with him and go down by the falls, stand there, you know, not even walk around or anything, just kind of, you know, stand there, look at the falls. And then we found a place where we can walk around. It's like a little lake or something, we used to be able to walk around and see the goldfish ponds. And we'd be riding through the park and we'd get lost. And we had Outdoor Park down there. We'd ride by it because Outdoor Park was the ultimate excitement, thrill, you know, amusement park, roller coasters. You know, that was just, you know, it was Outdoor Park at Mill Creek Park. When you say Outdoor Park was, ooh, here we go. Mill Creek Park was, yeah, okay, yeah. And I remember Outdoor Park when they got those armbands where you had unlimited riding. I remember they were like a little metal piece and a string. People used to try to bootleg that string, and you know, we'd have class days. Schools would be at the park. You know, they have school days where, you know, all the people from the school would go to the park on like a Wednesday or something like that. And you know, we had the Wildcat. They said it was one of the 10 best roller coasters in the world. And it was. That was a monster. The Wildcat was a beast. It really was. You could ride a Jackrabbit. It was smooth and it was fast, and you know, you got your hills and stuff. But it wasn't nothing like the Wildcat. It was wooden, it was rough, you got banged around, you know. And the Jackrabbit wasn't even all of that, and it had seatbelts. And Wildcat didn't. You just had that bar. You get in there, and you just, I mean, you get bounced around, and it was a rough ride, but that's what it was about. We grew up with that. And now they have the Outdoor Park experience. I went a couple years ago where they got all the memorabilia back from the park. The park, I think, shut down. I forget what happened. It shut down or something, and I think Mount Calvary, the church bought it, and then it burned down. It's just, you know, just not a good thing for that to happen to that park. I don't know what happened. You know, there was a decline of Youngstown. Probably wasn't enough draw, you know, to keep it going. And it just, you know, started deteriorating. I guess it just sat there. I used to come back and ride by there, and the park was just sitting there. I mean, this is your childhood dreamland, and it's just sitting there. And you see all the stuff that you remember, the French fry hut or whatever, and the spider was there, or all of that, you know, the stuff was there, and it was like taken apart. And you know, Hooterville Highway and Kittyland, and you just watch it deteriorate. Then they said, oh, it got on fire. And that was it. Lost River. That was it. And Penny Arcade. And just the childhood. That's where I'm at now. And that's the childhood. I wonder if I fart. Could you hear it? Did you hear that? I hope not. I had to. I had pizza last night. And last night was one of the first nights that I had sweets after work, before bed. I was just tired. I just wanted to get in bed, and I went to bed like at 1, which is like going to bed at 10 if I was in LA, because I've been staying up till 4. I went to bed at, I think, at 1 or 12 or something like that. I woke up at 3 or something like that, to where it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was up a little, sort of. And I rolled over, went back to sleep, and slept again. I slept from 5 to 11, slept another 6 hours. So that's where I'm at now. So I had pizza last night and potato chips, and I'm just drinking. Oh my God, I was drinking this zero sugar stuff. I don't know what I was drinking. It might have been the candy, the circus peanuts, and the red coins, that red licorice-y kind of, you know, coins. Stuff not quite Swedish fish. Swedish fish without the Swedish sweetness. It had so much mucus in I was coughing up stuff. I had to get a cup. I was in the bathroom spitting that stuff out there. I had to get a cup for when I lay down. It was just a lot. And it just kept coming and coming. And finally got it all out, because you got to spit it out. You can't swallow it. You got to spit it out. I was just spitting and spitting and spitting, and just like trying to get it all the way from the bottom and to come up. And, of course, it was all perfectly clear. No infection. Nothing like that. And then last night before I went to bed, I was so tired. I was like, granddaughter going to be here tomorrow. You need to baby-proof this room. You're going to have the granddaughter this room. You're going to have the granddaughter proof this room. And I didn't. She came in here. Started going right with it. But she did good. She looked at stuff and she knew she wasn't supposed to, but you could see her being drawn to it. It's like a wolf and meat. An animal looking at meat, and instinctively they're like, but they know, that I'm not supposed to. And she was good. I told her, I said, good girl, because she looked at it and she know, so. And she was happy, and she actually came over to me, wanted me to pick her up. I was like, oh, I was in the bed in there, and usually, for the first few minutes after, I don't see her for a few days, you get that, who are you look. You get that, I don't know you. I don't recognize you. And sometimes even when I'm wearing my glasses or a hat or my headset from work, she'll give you that, who are you? What are you? What is that? But she came over to me, she smiled as soon as she saw me laying. She could barely even see me. She smiled, and she came over there, and I picked her up, and then she wanted to get right back down and go on to the next thing. But she was good. She knows. She's who would ever thought that a baby or another person, period, would motivate me this way. I'm not other people. I'm not, I may even deliberately be adverse to, I'm definitely averse to dependent relationships. Either way, on me or me on them, any kind. It could be with a person or a machine or a process or a medicine. I don't like it. Autonomy is my thing. So, what was I saying? Something about dependent. I forgot. Oh, yeah, how come, something to be, I don't know why I went to dependent. May have been sensationalizing it, but, for me to be like, so into another person to where they, I probably have in my life, I'm sure. I'm sure in my life there was moments where there was people that, I'm not gonna say I couldn't live without, but a lot of my happiness and energy came from that person, another person. That's a good way to put it. A lot of my energy came from another person, a single person, just being around them, thinking about them and all that. I still do that. I still got that. Now, just thinking about people, and it could just be platonic relationships, it could be friends, whatever. But, I definitely do that. There's no doubt about it. I think about the P-Funk crew, the LA Maggots, all of us traveling or going to places and seeing. I definitely get energy. The band P-Funk, period, Pittsburgh Steelers, organizations, whatever, I definitely pull energy from that. And I don't know if I'm dependent on it. I can't really say, because P-Funk and Pittsburgh has been with me for so long as a part of my makeup and my family, my mother and my sister and my children and all them. Dependent, it'd be hard. Life would be drastically different without them. But dependent is I don't know. But I just hit the button so it'll start cycling through. I did 1.95 miles. That's probably about 35 minutes. Probably 1.96 miles. I'm at 2.2 miles an hour. That might be an hour. 44 minutes. Yep, I told you about 44 minutes. That sounds about right. That I've been on here. So I like to keep it on the miles per hour so I don't see the time. And when I was working out yesterday at the place, there was a clock staring me right in the face. That's not how I want to do it. That's not how I wanted to do it. I don't want to see the time. I just want to put my head down and go. And it's really good to be in a shape that where you can I can physically get on this thing and do 15 minutes without even blinking. Get on here and do 45 minutes to an hour without even, that one takes a little bit more. I do my half hour. Yesterday I did my half hour, my 28 minutes without even looking at the clock once. And I was just listening to music, wasn't even talking. And the 28 came up. I was like, whoa, okay. You just kind of get into it. And when I'm talking here now, see, I just did 45 minutes. Of course, that time is going to match that time. So I just did 45 minutes here. What the heck? How many steps should that be? Should be about 4,500. I think I get 100. When I'm walking, I get 100 steps a minute, I believe, or something like that. But I'm just talking. See, I didn't even talk about Kanye or political stuff because I think I made good progress in my understanding of that. And I think it's DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement. Somebody in their tweet, I'm on Twitter. That's another thing I probably need to talk about. When they kicked Trump off Twitter and Alex Jones, whoever they kicked off Twitter, it turned me. I didn't like that. I didn't, close my account or anything. I didn't protest I just, kind of shied away from it. And it just so happens with this Kanye and Kyrie stuff, I kind of gravitated back. And then when they put Trump back on, I was like, okay, with the whole Elon Musk stuff, I was like, okay. And it's funny, and Twitter's good. I've had it for years, and I've seen, I thought I knew how it worked, but if you really want to manipulate it and do what you do and figure this and do that, there's stuff, it's really, and you just scroll, I have I'm following so many people, you just follow anybody you think relevant. I think I might have to have two. I would like to have two. I have all my Steeler follow things on one, music one on one, and then my political one on one. It'd be nice, but they're all lumped together right now. So, and I turn the notifications off. I don't want them to know every time somebody tweets. I don't need to know that. So I just go check and just start scrolling. You see all the scrolls, all the posts, and these are about prominent people verified to be directly from them. I mean, to hear actually Kyrie's words, to hear Kanye's words, to hear Trump's words, to hear all these people's words, to actually see what they're saying, Big Ben and all the people that you look to, that you see on TV, to actually see what they say, even though it's going to be sanitized to a point, even though it's going to be, mannerly and cleaned up and politically correct, and especially with Big Ben, he ain't gonna never say nothing out of the pocket. But you gotta really listen. Sometimes you gotta really listen to it, because like Big Ben say, Big Ben says this, says that, says that. So if he deviates from that just a teeny bit, you can magnify it and say, oh, he hates him. Or something like that. You can go and say that. Just because Big Ben, if Big Ben said, there's certain people like that. They're not gonna go too far off. Like Kanye say anything. He'll go way off to pull you in. Where Ben might just say, you might just have to see him smile or blink his eyes or something to hear, or you can infer that, he ain't so happy with blah blah blah's performance, but he'll probably never say it. That's good. Just Twitter is good, because I like Twitter and podcasts, hearing directly from people. To hear directly from people is going to change the world. It already has, directly. We don't need the media no more. Remember 30, 40 years ago, the only thing we would hear would be through People magazine. It'd have to go through a magazine, Ebony or some kind of filter. TV, a huge corporate filter. And programming and editorial and editing and censoring and you know. But now you can just hear directly in their words, even if they're performing and just deceiving us and making it, you know, just telling us whatever, just putting on a performance. It's still their words, and we can directly connect it to them, and they'll have to live with that. And Twitter is just, and it's not Facebook and it's not Instagram. These people ain't playing. Some of these people on Twitter ain't playing at all. It's good. It's good. It's, you know, it's, and I even said years ago I wanted to take all my political stuff and just do it on Twitter and keep Facebook family friendly. And that was not necessarily for the people who came to my page, but for me, so that I could go to Facebook and not have to be defending political, you know, get political. I just kind of cruise through Facebook and just not have to worry about not being attacked or confronted, but, you know, the more serious political stuff. Keep it light. And I did actually think, yeah, maybe people just want to come to my page and hear stuff about P-Funk and not all that political or atheism stuff. But it just spills together. And if it's one thing, then I'm thinking now, I'm Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell on Facebook. I am Jeffery Mitchell. I'm Jeffery Mitchell. That's who I should be. I should be Jeffery Mitchell. jefferyTV even comes second after Jeffery Mitchell. Facebook comes. You're supposed to use your real name. I'm supposed to be Jeffery Mitchell. You know, that's just it. You're supposed to, your ID, boom, tied to you. No, what's the word? Avatar? No, what's the word when you have a, you know, no personality characters or whatever, you know, not a character to be actually me. And it's Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell. And I even want to get away from being, well, Pure Funk isn't P-Funk. Pure Funk, yeah, I can leave Pure Funk. Pure Funk isn't Parliament Funkadelic, even though we all know it is. It's not. Now, if I said Jeffery P-Funk, now that can tie me to that. I see where that tie, but Pure Funk, and they call me Pure Funk. People say, Pure Funk. Pure Funk. That's what they call me. Some people call me Pure Funk. Well, girls. There's a couple of them. So that, because I wanted to have everything Jeffery TV. I didn't want, there came a time where I didn't want to be P-Funk related. No, it's not that I didn't want to be P-Funk related. I wanted my brand to separate. I wanted to separate my brand. That's when I got Jeffery TV and tried to start converting over to Jeffery TV. Like on my YouTube, the big YouTube channel where Atheist Walking went viral, it's P-Funk one. And I'm not sure if I want to change that. You know, I'm not sure that I want to change that. I might look into it. Well, P-Funk 1, even though it's obviously P-Funk, since I write it P-Funk 1, you know, but the whole idea, I didn't want to be like calling myself P-Funk, where it's clearly an association with Parliament Funkadelic, even though, because back in that time I was pseudo-affiliated. I was much closer affiliated with the band and the organization. I was never official in the band, but I was like in the circle enough to where my behavior meant something not meant something, that my behavior fell under the guys, how can I put it? I was close enough to where I had a responsibility to not disrespect the band. I don't know how to put it. I don't know, not to disrespect. Well, once you're in the circle, you got to chill. And one of the major indications of that was that the guest list, I used to get on the guest list. And as long as you play right, you get on the guest list. And as soon as I stopped playing right, I got kicked off the guest list. Not kicked off, but I can't even call it kicked off. I knew I deserved it, and I was like, okay. And it just so happened at that time I just got a job, wasn't the best job in the world, and I had the means by this or by that, and through relationships to still go to the shows and hang out. And I was able to buy my own tickets. Okay, I was off the list, but I was able to buy my own tickets and be in the show. And when I got kicked off, and I told them when I wrote the article that I ain't going nowhere. You know, I mean, there's no place for me to go. You know, say, if you don't like it, if you don't like how people are playing, go somewhere else. I just know where to go. I'm not going nowhere else. I'm still gonna be there. And then I got kicked off, and then because I was under, you know, it's just, and that goes with the whole censorship thing now. And I even wanted autonomy back then, and I knew, I was working with people, you know, supporting the stars. They were the stars, and I wasn't, and I understood my role, and I was cool with my role and support role, and I knew I was supposed to do this and do that. Not supposed to, but I was supposed. This is my intended function to my duties and function and loyalties to receive the perks and the things that I got. And it, you know, it was a relationship and it worked. Even then I knew, oh no, this is all about Jeffrey. But, you know, I knew in that time I was, you know, working with We Funk West. I could say it, We Funk West. I created We Funk West based off of Mike Clip Payne's We Funk. I got We Funk West, and to legitimize it, whatever, I mean, to sanction it, to condone it, I worked with Lodge, because they were, you know, all together. So I was under them. They, even though I own We Funk West and I was I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was them, and it was cool for as long as it went. And then my personality, which was always there all the time anyway, or my ego even, started to outgrow it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start to say some things that everybody's not gonna like, and I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to say things that everybody's not gonna like. That's my number one thing right there. That's autonomy is my priority. Hey, let's do this. This thing has been going on for an hour. I don't know how long these, ooh, look at this, I'm doing this now. What is this? I never did that before. I just made up another move. And I'm not really going super fast. But now that I'm loosened up, my shoulder's a little loosened up. Let's see what time it is. I should be okay, it's 1:33. 1:33. And I'm at 58. 1:53 at 58 minutes. So I know when I get to another half hour, I should do another. Oh, I didn't even check to see how many steps I did. Let me see how many steps I did. I don't even check. 7,000. I'm doing good. I'm getting it in. And I feel a bowel movement coming on. And I'm going to get up there and get on the scale again. So the number should be something. And again, but I'll say this again. It's not about losing weight when I get on this thing. In fact, I'm going to have to go upstairs now. I'm going to have to cut this short. I can feel it. It's not about calorie burning or weight loss. All this. And I have to admit it, that it's more about staying in shape. And maybe even walking. When I was walking those, you know, the miles that I walk before work every day, that I felt was calorie burning and was about weight loss. And it might not have been. That might have just been getting in shape. Because sometimes I wake up, I weigh myself when I wake up, and I don't do nothing. And I weigh myself a couple hours later, and I drop the same weight I did when I walked. But when I throw on that sauna suit and I start sweating, that's when the big numbers drop. And I even said that, oh, I got to stop. I got to go upstairs. I got to go upstairs. Yeah, I can feel it. Because when you wake up in the morning, you know you got to go. You know you got to have a sit down in the bathroom, but you know it ain't ready yet. All right, you know, you got to like walk around and, you know, get it together. Let gravity or whatever, digestion finish up so that you ain't sitting down there pushing your guts out, trying to get it out. But Pittsburgh plays on Monday. I'll be working. Hopefully it's a holiday. Everybody be chilling. I'm all over the place, and that's the way I like to be. And I think that's what Kanye was. Kanye's all over the place, stream of consciousness, and that shows a freedom. That shows a freedom and an inhibition. You know, because he was doing interviews in the car, you know, social media. He was not even social media. The technology, using modern technology, just do interviews in the car. It didn't have to be all formal. Don't need all this. Don't need all that. You know, from one place to the other, talking to ABC, talking to major news outlets, Piers Morgan and all that. You know, just walking down the street. Because it doesn't have to be in a studio. It doesn't have to be all formal. And that I love. That I absolutely love about the internet. We get on this thing and just talk and just communicate. And this, I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for years. You know, so, and you could, and one thing it's hard. Well, I don't like really, you know, bragging or blowing my horn because, you know, I could be wrong or whatever. And it's usually proven that the statement I make is accurate. But I said I was blogging before blogging. In 1997, I started a blog where I would just, a diary online. I started doing that, and people started doing it. I started podcasting. In fact, I had video logging the YouTubians or something like video logging the YouTubians to the point that where I was going to say, I'm not going to talk to the internet unless it's through a video. I was doing this way back, 20 years ago. And so now people start getting on, and, you know, I'm as far as this goes, I'm definitely ahead of the curve. I know I'm way ahead of the curve because I see people, because a few years ago, I was like, how come everybody don't make, it was somebody, I think it was Tally or somebody, I was like, just make a video. You know, just make a video and talk. And it didn't hit me. Everybody can't do that, or doesn't do that, or doesn't want to do that, or isn't comfortable doing it. Just like I just get on and blah, 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 blah. I'm just so used to it. It's just so, it's almost inherent. Throwing a microphone, throwing a camera and just start talking. And then as it goes, you perfect, you work on and engineer the quality and the ease of doing it, the set, and you start to learn little tricks and that. I'm gonna stop this. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this and start it over again because I wanna save this video. I wanna make sure I save this video. I never went this long before.